The Kress twins, Otto and Aurora, were the firstborn children to Anton Kress, who was the head of the Kress family estate and founder of Kress Chemical. Mr. Kress would often bring the chemicals he was working on home with him, and unknowingly, tragedy came with it. One day, he negligently exposed his pregnant wife to toxic chemicals. The chemicals seeped into her body and polluted her womb. This chemical contamination caused the twins to develop abnormally, and as a result, Otto and Aurora were born conjoined in 1899. Their birth was complicated, and their mother tragically did not survive. Growing up, the Kress twins spent most of their time working on their own company, developing their own individual interests and nurturing their talents. Otto was taken completely by politics, while Aurora focused primarily on chemistry. This combination would become highly advantageous as they stepped into the family business. Meanwhile, Anton Kress, their father, never truly forgave himself for what he had done to his wife. He turned to alcoholism to cope, and because of this, the success of Kress Chemical began to decline. So, to combat this, Otto and Aurora got to work. Using their positions at Kress Chemical and their combined intelligence, the twins gained a significant amount of influence in New York. They did this by helping corrupt politicians behind the scenes. This power then allowed them to manipulate water pollution regulations and, consequentially, save Kress Chemical from failing business developments.
Though the twins had proved themselves successful in their own right, no amount of success could grant them what they truly craved: social acceptance. Limited by only their physical appearance, they were robbed of the opportunity to reach their true potential. The resentment they felt combined with success was a cocktail for indulging in depraved activities and the ability to get away with it. During the 1920s, Otto and Aurora found a mutual interest that they could both partake in: murder. Their newfound hobby would be the cause of many slaughters in Buffalo, New York, and by the 1940s, their body count was considerable. Their victims were mainly Canadians, prostitutes, and homeless people, and were found buried under the Kress estate. The newspapers quickly found a name that reflected these monstrous acts and referred to the killer twins as the Buffalo Minotaur. It became apparent that the twins' appearance was not only inhibiting their future goals, but their prospects at romance too. Otto and Aurora had always been extremely close in more ways than just literally. It is not clear when exactly their relationship became intimate, but it was suspected to be a long time. Like their father, the twins had a habit of bringing their work home, including dangerous chemicals. One night in 1924, their father stumbled across them standing over a dead body that had been torn into and dissected. He started to realize the depths of his children's depraved nature, and in a moment of desperation to fix the situation, his intoxicated brain concocted a way to fix them. He grabbed a handsaw and quietly approached them while they were sleeping, then injected Otto's neck, paralyzing him. He raised the saw up into the air, Aurora calling out to her father with terror in her eyes as she watched him rip through their flesh. So Aurora did the only thing that she could, and she reached for the vial of corrosive chemicals beside her, before smashing it off her father's head. While her father was stunned, she dragged her and Otto's body to the counter, where she concocted a syringe of her own and jammed it into Otto's neck. Immediately, Otto sprung into action, the twins now looming over their father. They grabbed him by the neck, raising his feet above the floor and removing the saw from his grasp. The twins could not forgive their father for his actions and enacted their revenge by sawing him in half. But that was not the end for Anton Kress. He would then become the Kress twins' latest experiment. They sewed him back together, but with one side of his body completely upside down. They forcibly kept him alive so that he would know how it felt to live as they did. For weeks, the twins celebrated with champagne and watched him struggle until his body gave out. Afterwards, the Kress twins lived life as usual, still influencing the political state of New York from behind the scenes. But with each victory they helped secure, Otto became more inspired to run for the US governor himself, his ambitions eventually leading him to step out into the public eye. But like Icarus, Otto had flown too close to the sun. Being in the public eye made people curious, and investigations ensued. Light was poured over Otto's and Aurora's crimes. It seemed as though the twins had not learned from their father's sins or prior experiences, because one night in 1958, the police would arrive at the Kress estate, only to find the twins absolutely covered in the blood of their latest victims.
They didn't know it yet, but Murkoff had already set their sights on the Buffalo Minotaur. Clyde Perry was sent out to investigate in 1957, following a business partnership between Murkoff and Kress Chemical. Perry believed that the twins would be of interest to the Signala facility's future, and he was right. After their imprisonment, Clyde knew where to find the twins, and soon arrived at their cell. Murkoff knew that if the Kress twins went down for all of those horrific murders, Kress Chemical would be destroyed, putting thousands out of jobs, and the military would lose a major supplier. More importantly though, Murkoff themselves would lose one of their main suppliers too. Murkoff, of course, could not allow this to happen, so they pulled some strings and made a deal with Hoover, the first director of the FBI. The murders were swiftly covered up and pinned on the Kress estate's groundskeeper, and although the Kress twins were not found guilty, they were far from free. They were brought in by Murkoff and placed into the Chemical Research and Development Division. During their time in this division, Aurora learned fluent Japanese in order to communicate with a chemical engineer named Kusamura, just so that she could discuss chemistry with someone. One day, upon instruction from the Signala facility, Kusamura visited the Kress twins in the laboratory with news. Firstly, he presented them with the unfortunate news of Clyde Perry's death, showing them a photo of his body, which had been split in half. The twins seemed saddened by how he had passed, deeming it unnatural, but then proceeded to nostalgically recall how their father once tried to separate them. After turning their attention back to Kusamura for the second piece of news, they noticed a green mist swirling in the air around them. They attempted to run, but began losing consciousness too quickly, falling at Kusamura's feet. Kusamura's masked face was the last thing they saw before Otto and Aurora were forcibly inducted as the new prime assets for Project Lathe.